All right, we are getting into our last session of the day, but just as an FYI, the space is open until 6 p.m., so you don't need to worry about getting things ready and shutting your computers down and getting busy to leave. So you can hang out, but this is our last session of programming on the stage. Again, as a reminder, just in case you might not know who I am Shira Lazar. There you go. That's how you spell it. I'm the CEO and founder of What's Trending. Been in the creator space for like 2 decades, very long time. And I also cover on my personal channels the creator economy, emerging tech and trends, digital culture, all that fun stuff. And it allows me to be in really cool spaces like this one, which I love. And I'm a theater kid, so I love being on stage. So it's like meant to be that I'm here today. I got that energy. And how are you doing? Do you guys have the energy? Yes. Feeling it. Well, I'm excited to wrap up our day of programming today with the CEO and co-founder of Creator Co. They are one of the sponsors here at this space. And actually, I wouldn't even be here. Well, I'd be here like existing on this planet as a human, but here at CES, because they were one of even my sponsors along with CES to get me out here. Yes, paying creators. Let's give it up for that. And this session is actually going to be a bit about that. Paying creators, monetization, different ways to do it through social commerce, which is, by the way, a $500 billion industry in North America. That is huge. So we're going to get into how you can get involved with that, make it make sense for you as a creator or if you're a brand. So with that, where am I? I'm going to introduce Vinod Varma, CEO and co-founder of Creator Co. Give it up for him. Amazing. Yes, my first panel. Love it.
Love it.
All right, so first let's get into, for context, what is Creator Co.?
Creator Co is an ecosystem where brands and influencers connect, collaborate, grow, and earn more money collectively.
Okay, and how is it different than, I guess, another influencer marketing platform out there?
Yeah, I think where we differ from a lot of different influencer marketing platforms are at 2 fronts. One is we're extremely concerned and focused on the creator's well-being, on helping them grow, earn more money. It's not just a transaction for them, it's a lifestyle. And for many, it's a dream to gain financial freedom.
Yeah.
And we want to support that.
Yeah.
2 is social commerce. We are integrating with the world's leading social commerce platforms, TikTok, Instagram, soon to be Snapchat, Pinterest. And we think that is going to be the future of the way people transact.
Amazing. Just for context, how many people are creators here? How many people are brands? Oh, we have a lot of arts. We have both, which I love.
Nice.
That's good as we're getting into this and making sure we're giving you the content that you need. So I guess on both the brand and the creator front, how do they use Creator Co? Like if I'm entering it, what do I do?
Yeah, so brands sign up, they create an account, they build a campaign.
Yeah.
That gets launched into a marketplace. Okay. We've got about 250,000 influencers registered. They're able to browse the marketplace, apply to campaigns. Brands can evaluate that. They can negotiate. We handle all the tech, the payments, the data from the posts, and all of that good stuff. Really easy.
Okay.
Yeah, creators sign up for free.
Yeah.
They search the marketplace. They can search for brands, different payments, different platforms, and then choose to opt in to whatever program they want.
Amazing. So go check that out if you're a creator or a brand right now. Let's get into social commerce. Can you define social commerce? Because I feel like that's a big overarching topic and theme.
Yeah, I think social commerce in its simplest form is defined by the ability to transact within a social application at its simplest form. And right now you can kind of see a difference would be on TikTok Shop. When you're browsing, you can purchase that product right in the app. It gets shipped to you. You don't have to go anywhere else. On Instagram, you might see a link to a product, which would take you outside of Instagram and you would make a purchase elsewhere. That can still be influencer marketing, but it's not necessarily social commerce.
Did you know that it was going to be this big? Like, I mean, I feel like it's been around for a long time, affiliate links and all that. TikTok Shop just has blown up the past year.
Yes.
Did that change your approach to the business?
I think it validated our vision, and our vision is really that creators are going to be the driving force of sales for brands by 2035, the leading channel.
Okay, that is huge. That's a lot of pressure though too. Do you think the more people do this stuff, is it harder to have that conversion? Is there more noise out there?
It's absolutely harder. And at the same time, there are waves of aspiring creators.
Yeah.
At Duke, USC, a number of other Ivy Leagues are actually offering influencer courses. That is how much demand there is. And so we're extremely bullish. We know that there is going to be a lot of attention on this, but we look at it really as the next evolution of purchasing online.
Yeah. My worry sometimes is, and I love this, trust me, I love like more revenue strategies and ways that creators can make money. Like I hope that a platform like TikTok or any others don't just become a place where all I see is TikTok shop and ads, right? And that balance, if they know people are buying and they're making money, that's what they're going to feed us.
I think you make up a good point. I think the apps will need to be careful about how they serve that.
Yeah.
My assumption is that it might become a feature where you get to see TikTok shop or not, and how much of it. I'm not sure how that will play out.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that's not a problem I have to solve. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not there right now. Let's get into trust and authenticity, because I think trust when you're buying something is huge. How do you create trust to purchase that product, right? And I would say as an influencer or a brand.
I think that trust is derived from people and not advertisements. And that's where creators and influencers really are the catalyst to attention, awareness, and ultimately building that trust. If you follow someone who is talking about health and wellness, and you are listening to the lifestyle that they're living, the products that they're using, that eventually builds a level of trust where now that person in the decision-making funnel goes from attention, awareness, desire to now interested and taking action to purchasing those products.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it does take, and is this true, 7 times of seeing something before someone buys it?
7 to 8, yeah. It's up there. It does take a little bit of recoil to get top of mind, because you see advertisements everywhere. I mean, just walk into any one of these halls.
Yeah.
And with that much advertising around, how do you stay top of mind? And then at the same time, how do you initiate trust and engagement between a consumer you've never met and your brand?
And how do you differentiate the awareness from the conversion? We were talking about this, and I think it's an issue, but also an opportunity where a lot of creators are building awareness, but it might not convert in that moment because there's not a natural conversion on the platforms. I mean, when you're doing TikTok shop, there is maybe, but
yeah, I think, well, there's like, dirty's the wrong word, but there's a little industry thing called last click attribution. And it's the way most affiliate networks track sales. The problem with that is if you actually dive into it, the way people transact today, because consumers are savvy, is you will normally become aware of a product by seeing it online. And that will build awareness, that will build trust. And you might see it a couple times before you end up taking action or getting the desire to actually buy it. The problem is it's that individual or those individuals that are actually responsible for introducing the brand, building that trust. And as a savvy consumer, no fault of your own, you've taken that information, you trust it, and now as someone who's interested in saving a few dollars, and we all are, you're now looking at red flag deals, coupon sites, and other ways to buy that product, which is totally fair. The onus is on us as technology builders. But what happens is the person that introduced that gets totally from any sort of commission or recognition from ultimately being the ones responsible, in my mind, for that sale.
Yeah, so how are we supposed to deal with that? Because the fact is creators do have influence, whether you're small to the community you have or larger. And how do we make brands understand what social commerce means to each of us, depending on what size we are?
Yeah, totally. I think in size in terms of followers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that size in terms of followers is becoming less important compared to engagement.
Okay.
And I also think that, I mean, there's a sliding scale, right? Where you get to a point where you're so big and your engagement is extremely low because that's just the natural order of things. But we see this incredible affinity or gravity towards micro influencers because to the average consumer, a micro influencer is a lot more accessible, believable, trustworthy than, say, a Kardashian.
Well, it's interesting because when I'm on the platforms and I buy something, a lot of times it's not from someone known. I see some random person that's like, this foundation is amazing. And then I keep seeing this foundation and I'm like, okay, I now feel like I need to buy this foundation, right?
Yeah, and that's the perfect example. I think people are prone to trust people who they see a little bit of themselves in, maybe.
Yeah. So how is that going to play out in this next iteration of social commerce? Who's winning? What's going to happen? Let's talk about where we're at right now and where you see it going.
Where we're at right now is this incredible point in time where we have AI. So if you go back 10 years,
Yeah.
the problem with driving sales online was to get someone to trust putting their credit card information into a browser.
Yeah.
That was a big problem. Now that's not a problem anymore. So people are used to putting that information online. What we've done is made access to products a lot easier with social apps like TikTok, Instagram, etc. And the natural next step would be to avoid the friction of leaving the app to going somewhere else to buy it. That will also solve the attribution problem too, which I think is really interesting. So we're at this crossroads where AI is going to make us more productive, more efficient. Technology in the social commerce space, I can't say this for sure, but I have reason to believe that Amazon is going to unlock their catalog for Pinterest, Snapchat, and Instagram, which will make all of them essentially super social commerce apps. And they're all TikTok, and the three of them are going to compete for market share. And it's going to be beautiful. What it's going to do is it's going to give the consumer power because they're going to be able to purchase it from wherever they choose to socialize.
And they could go when it pops up, it says, okay, buy it at Amazon or buy directly from the site. Kind of like what we do for travel, right? Where you could go right to the hotel.
Exactly.
Or airline. You know what I would love that's so easy? Because there's LTK now that a lot of people, I don't know if have you heard of LTK? There's some influencers making like millions of dollars off this, or I guess in total, a lot of influencers making a lot of money, which equals millions of dollars. They basically create their own closet and you could buy what they're wearing. I'm too tired to even do that. Like, I feel like I don't have time to even create the closet. I can barely take care of my closet. And so I would love, and this is where AI, I think, could help, if I just have my picture and it could right away say in a picture on social what I'm wearing, where to buy it. I don't even need to set that up, and people could buy it if they want to.
You're very fashion forward.
Fashion tech forward, exactly. I'm like, when is that going to happen?
Yeah. The technology is here today.
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of stitching it together with the social application.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're far off.
So for the creators that are here first, what should they be doing to be taking advantage of this monetization opportunity of social commerce right now?
That's a great question. I had the pleasure of speaking with a number of creators over the last few days in this space.
Yeah.
And the question I asked all of them was, how did you get started? Because I think it's so fascinating. Like, I love marketing, I love technology, but I have no posts on my social. I'm not a camera-facing type of guy, and I like that. I'm more than happy to share knowledge to fellow marketers and brands and creators, but yeah, it's just not a place where I like to be.
Yeah.
But I consume it, a lot of it. What they all said is, don't do it with the intention of making money to start. Do it because you love doing it. And those individuals that kind of followed their heart, I think what happened is people, their fans, their followers, saw authenticity in that. And I think it's the authenticity that drives the trust, the connection, and ultimately a following. And then once you have that following, then you've got a real asset in that community. And it's the asset, it's that community that you monetize over time. So the advice would be, I think, is to follow what feels right for you. What can you see yourself, good content creators create hours of content a day. And to do that, you need to be really passionate about it.
Yeah, because it's tiring.
It's tiring.
It can be tiring. I'll
you
say
know.
that from personal experience.
yeah.
But then I'm like, but this is in my blood. I just have to do it. I have to like share why I think this about the specific topic.
Yeah.
It's either ego or narcissism. No, I'm kidding. Sometimes there's a gift there also.
100% there's a gift.
No, there is
Yeah,
a gift
yeah.
and there's a care, and we each have that. So definitely, I want to encourage you to lean into that for you. But say you have a community, how can you get into like, selling products and all that besides brand integrations? There's the affiliate links. There's TikTok Shop now. What would you say?
There's yeah. I mean, it goes. The scale goes from gifted to paid to paid plus affiliate, and then bonuses, and then ambassadorships, where you're paid a retainer sometimes to represent a brand, and that'll come with a few more strings attached to it. Don't promote a competing brand and stuff like that. I think I think the platforms in general, Creator.co and a few others, are a really good place to get started and find that momentum because it makes it really easy. But ultimately, long tail success is dependent on the passion that you bring, the way you drive content.
And I feel like depending on what type of creator you are, you can lead into different types of ways to take advantage of this. So there was a creator here that does a lot of hair. She got viral for her hair technique.
I don't follow her.
So of course that becomes her thing, and that's a natural way to then link to hair products and this and that. Like that is authentic for her. And other people, it could be cars. It could be technology. And then you're finding the hot tech, whether it be the big tech like the Samsung, LG, like doing those demos and unboxings, or even now finding those products on TikTok that are like crazy tech gadgets. So I think it's about thinking like that outside the box. What's the thing that you love? How are you talking about it in a consistent way, staying on top of the conversation, leaning into the trends? And then third, how do you align with products? Not waiting for them to pay you, but how do you make sure you're aligning with the products? So either then they find your videos and they say, oh, well, let's create more of that with you.
Totally.
Or you have that link, whether it be on TikTok Shop or the affiliate link, to at least experiment with that. Yeah. And that's like my personal
affiliate
advice.
Links are a great way to get started because they're very, very simple. They're, again, the caution to that is the last click attribution.
Yeah.
It's.
But I would say if you're wanting a brand to sponsor you, right, start creating content about that brand.
That is
like
great
they want
advice.
natural ambassadors.
Yeah.
They want people that actually like them. They're more likely to work with you if you've already posted about them and they like your content.
Yeah, actually through Creator, a lot of the brands that use our platform search and identify the best influencers because we're able to show them who's already talking about them and posting organically. And typically those relationships are the ones that last the longest, they're authentic, and ultimately the ones that drive long tail value for both parties.
And so what advice do you have for brands here that want to get into social commerce?
We'll start with brands who want to get into influencer marketing because I think this is important to touch on, and I don't want to start like a fight down the middle, but I think brands need to understand that working with an influencer is not like doing a paid ad. When you run a paid ad, you look at conversion. When you work with an influencer, it's about building awareness, creating trust, and ultimately promoting the humanization of your brand to a new audience. And I think that a lot of brands get caught up in, if I spend $200 on this influencer, they better bring $200 in sales. The question is actually very different. If you're not working with any influencers and all of your competitors are, you are screwed. And I'll say that with full confidence. I've launched dozens of brands, a few $100 million brands, Fitbit being a notable one in Canada, the Apple iWatch, the Garmin Forerunner. They had tons of competition 10 years ago. Today, very little competition. They were the front runners in investing in influencers, building community, and really working with a group of people that aligned with the brand to push it forward. It wasn't built on the back of paid ads.
Yeah, and it's not one or the other. Like it's like, well, I'm doing it this way, paid ads, so I can't do this. It's a complement to it. And I also say brands, you get influencers, one, you're paying for their production studio. You're paying for the production time, the resources. And guess what? They also happen to have reach, right? So you're paying for those impressions. Then guess where you're going to get your conversions? More likely and more specific through paid usage of that video. Use
Yes.
it as the ad.
The advice is get the rights to the content.
Yeah.
Take the best performing content,
Exactly.
test it in an ad funnel, and that's where you'll start to see a flywheel. And then you can go back to your influencers and say, hey, use this as inspiration.
Yeah.
Let's create another batch of content. And then you put that in your paid funnel and you start to bring your CPA lower. You start to bring down your CAC. And then eventually your best performing influencers, you want to reward them. You should give them a unique code that they can use on dark social or through other posts. And that way, now they're incentivized to continue the conversation about you by earning a commission for conversions that they drive.
Let's get into AI and how AI could impact all of this. And I think that AI powers the work and the discovery and everything. But, Meta, of course, they went back on this very quickly last week. Was it last week? I'm losing track of time. Meta every week has a crazy controversial announcement. I don't want to be their press right now. The Meta AI, I don't know if you know, there's like characters that, like, they had these Meta AI characters that you could friend and follow. And they said how advertisers are going to be using these more and more. But then everyone called it out and they quickly went back on that. But how will this influence influencer marketing and social commerce if I could just create my own version of what I want of an influencer to look like? It looks real, right? For kind of my AI UGC or something like that.
Who would trust an AI generated influencer? Seriously, like actually trust. And
I mean, Little Miquela, there are some AI influencers, but no.
there's
but like
some fantastic ones. They are
question
so
is,
cool.
Hopefully,
I've nothing against them. But
yeah.
if they gave me medical advice, I fucking
Well,
wouldn't take
yeah,
it.
I mean,
sorry.
unless they're like, this is the voice of a doctor, but on the face of an AI influencer.
Am I gonna get in trouble for
this is
swearing?
getting weird. No, I mean, let's do. It's the end of the
last
day.
right?
This is the edgy, interactive session. We want to, keep you on
We
your
swear
seat.
here.
No, we're Canadians, No, I do think this is interesting because what I think it's gonna become like McDonald's content. There will be the fast food content,
Yes.
and then there will be the other content,
The storytelling, the authenticity.
premium
I-
authenticity.
I think where AI is going to help creators in making them more efficient, making content pop more, creating different variations of it. If AI tries to replace the creator, the influencer, at least for the next decade, I think that there needs to be massive step changes in consumerism for that to work from a conversion level. For entertainment, no problem. For actual trust building conversion, I don't see it.
Maybe it'll be like an ad, like
Maybe I'll be wrong, but
Well, no, I think there will be ads. There'll be the spammy ads. It'll be the what's that company? The Temu of advertising.
yeah.
And so there will be people that will click through, but then there's gonna, something for everyone, as I like to say.
something for everyone.
So I do want to go
Less
to.
for some.
We have a few minutes left. I want to go to some questions. Does anyone have a question? Anything specific you want to ask? Otherwise, I will get into the future.
Fire hard questions.
Yeah, we want. Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
great.
Someone had the courage. It always takes one. All right. Wait. What? Look, come up here. Wait. No. Come up here. Or go to the side. Okay. What's your name? Where you're from?
Thomas. Nice to meet you.
Don't get too comfortable.
I'm Thomas. We have an Amazon store, so this is very important for us to get some information about the future of social commerce. One question is, we're selling stuff. We're influencers and we've created. Where's the product coming from? Is it directly?
What do you mean?
Like directly from the manufacturer? If I sell 10,000 watches,
Yeah.
where's it coming from?
Depends on the watch, but usually two things, either direct from the manufacturer or from a warehouse.
Yeah,
or
and I
drop
heard you
shipping.
mention Amazon
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, so an Amazon warehouse, 3PL.
Right, so Amazon has the multi-channel fulfillment now.
Correct.
So if you have stock sitting in Amazon, anything that you sell social media or on the social commerce platforms, you can actually send it from your stock
Yeah.
at Amazon.
Yeah, you can consolidate that
Yeah,
inventory.
so-
Managing storefronts is going to be a full-time job for a lot of brands, like
Yeah.
social storefronts.
So that was it. I just wanted to kind of clarify.
Yeah.
Because authenticity, right? If you're selling these watches, we're just using watches, and they don't come from direct manufacturer, then you could be, getting some kind of knockoff. And so Amazon's introduced transparency so that customers get actual products
You're
they
talking
know
like
are
Temu
authentic.
plays and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got like
Yeah, I
or
think-
remanufacture.
Yeah, there's Amazon and there's Shopify, and I think it, there's responsibilities on both sides to make sure that people are getting the products that they think they're purchasing.
And I think that, and then I think that also those AI reviews now, I don't know if you've seen them on Amazon, pretty helpful. When you're like, you see that.
yeah.
But I think that will be, you'll be cut off right away if you're just selling stuff and you're not fulfilling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so much, Thomas.
Thanks, buddy.
Any other questions?
You don't have to sit
Oh,
in
yeah.
the chair if you don't want.
You don't have to sit in the chair.
You can.
So I guess where do you see the future of social commerce as it relates to the creator economy? And what does the future look like for Creator Co?
I think the future of the creator economy points in all directions towards evolving social commerce. There are 3 tailwinds that I see for that. One is consumer behavior. People are now used to buying online. There was a report put out where the individuals who made purchases on social media last year was about $600 a year. 2023 was about $600 a year. 2024 was about $1,200. So the people who have made purchases the year before have now doubled that spend, and we're seeing an increasing supply in that. So that's one tailwind, is consumer behavior. The second one is supply, and when I mean supply, it means motivated influencers or aspiring influencers, more influence. It's in Ivy League schools, it's a course. So there's growing supply of influencers, there's step changes in consumer behavior, and the third tailwind is technology changes, which I mentioned earlier, and this would be the aggregation of storefronts from Amazon, from Shopify, being ported into social commerce apps like TikTok Shop, and I think more are around the corner. So those 3 tailwinds, to me, point towards a world where influencers drive the majority of sales for a lot of brands.
Wow. Will brands be, I guess, bringing people to their own spaces, or?
No, I think creators are going to have their own storefront.
Amazing.
I think I would rather than a brand which is going to be usually limited to dimensions. I think when you're on a creator's page, you're going to feel like you're buying from a person that you trust versus a brand that wants to make a profit.
And the alignment,
against brands
and the
who wanna make a
alignment
profit.
with what they're doing, what they're wearing, how they live their lifestyle. What about the future of Creator Co?
Creator Co is going to follow that path. We're following those tailwinds. We are seeing a lot of early success with TikTok Shop and social commerce in general, on Amazon as well. So we're going to keep our heads down, and we're focused on making the lives for creators easier, giving them access to more collaboration opportunities, access to more paid collaboration. We want to be the platform they think of when they think financial freedom. And we want brands to think of us as the easiest way to collaborate with the most influencers, with the least amount of friction, with the most accurate data and tracking.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for this, and thanks for your support of me being here as well and making this happen.
That was easy.
By the way, how this happened was we were at an event.
met at
I
a
got
bar.
the call about this space, and I could bring some brands in. He happened to be at the bar, and we started a conversation.
Always work
That's
at the bar.
literally at the bar. And that's literally how it happened. And that's how things can happen. Of course, our virtual spaces are so important, but don't underestimate the power of the offline space where you all are here today.
IRL.
Business can happen, deals can happen, and that's how things can become a reality. So thank you all for being here today.
Thanks,
as we wrap
everybody.
up this session and this day. Thank you to Vinod and
Thank
Creator
you.
Co. Give it up for him.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time.
And looking forward to seeing you tomorrow right here at the CES Creator Space starting at 10:30 a.m. We have a jam-packed day. I'm also going to be moderating another conversation at 2:15 p.m. about creators and mental health, a subject I'm very passionate about. So stick around for that. We have the schedule online and, of course, up at front, I believe. And so, yeah, thank you for being here. Hashtag CS Creator Space. If you did capture any content, this space is open again till 6 p.m. Go check it out, walk around, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.